I want to end talking about revenue streams because this is really the most important part of the business model and the part that you can experiment with the most. So what are customers really willing to pay you for? How do they pay you for? Are you generating transactional sales? Are you generating recurring sales? So what is the way in which customers pay you? How much do they pay you for what you have to offer? How do they pay you? Now, in traditional business, like Patrick was explaining earlier, it's quite simple. You buy something for $1, you give it, you sell it for $2, you make a dollar margin. Simple. But there are much more sophisticated revenue models today. And innovation in today's world doesn't depend just on product innovation. Business model innovation is a big thing. Pricing innovation is another big thing. So you see today a lot of online companies are selling their services in terms of bundles. You see this a lot when you go to use a company like Salesforce.com or when you want to use email company or hosting company. You'll find that they'll have these packages, basic package, a bigger package, and a third, extensive package, advanced package. And for each of these, you got a certain set of services, and you buy it, and it's very cheap to buy. But how often do you pay? On a monthly basis or on a weekly basis? So they keep, even though it's a low amount of money that you're paying, but when you calculate it over a period of a couple of years, it's not bad. It's a big amount that you're paying, but you're paying it monthly. So that's one of the pricing innovation models that is coming up more and more. In app development, what is a good pricing innovation that is coming out? Free. Does it stay free all the time? So this is called Freemium Model. So there's a free version. You see a lot of apps you can download for free. And then there's the premium model where you pay to get the full version of the app. Or there are things that you pay within the app. So there are lots of different innovation models in revenue structures. And we're going to look for a couple of them. So there's one which is called a bait and hook model. So you give the customer one-time transaction. So the Gillette model is something like that. They give us the bait by giving us a cheap razor. When you go to buy the blades, you then say, wow, this is expensive. So they give us the bait, and then they hook us to continuously go back to them and buy more and more services. So you can see here in the revenue model, actually the razor blade constitutes a very small amount of revenue that they make. Their major revenue comes from the blades itself, not the razor handle. Razor handle, is a very small amount of revenue. Razor blades constitute the big amount of revenue for them. So this is one way of a bait and hook model. Can you think of another model like this? So HP has been doing this for many years. Inkjet cartridges, if you didn't hear of it. Yeah.
I just said, inkjet printers such as HP, you can buy the printer for 120 dirhams and then the ink for 120 dirhams.
Yeah.
And they give you very little ink with the first one you purchase, like 10 pages.
So that is absolutely right. And they've been using this model for ages. So the cartridges business in HP is really big. They actually lose money on the printers. You could imagine, if they're building this 120 dirham printer, they lose money in building the printer, but they make it up through the cartridges. And that is a huge business for. Yes?
Yeah, hello. I wanted to mention the air fresheners also example that really hooks us with the machines where maybe we get it free of charge, and when you go to get the refill, you find out that you cannot buy but from the same brand, the same line, to use the same machine one more time, and you get hooked to it.
Absolutely. Nespresso also follow the same thing. The other one is a freemium model. So you give someone something for free, you give your customer, and then a certain group, a certain set of demographics from that customer segment will actually pay for your services. So again, in the case of Skype, even though they provide it free for us as individuals, but when it comes to businesses, if a segment of that business would want to pay for it and they make revenue from it. Apps is again something that's very common these days in using this model, freemium model. The other model is the connection model, connection platform. And this is more the style of Facebook. So again, we as users use it for free. We don't pay anything. Businesses pay. And the way that Facebook makes money is by getting the businesses to be in front of the users. Okay, so that's another kind of connection model. So what kind of revenue model can you innovate, can you think of in your business?
Sometimes it makes also some sense if you can do a mix, depending on the situation as well.
Do what, sorry?
A mix.
A mix. Okay. Like, can you give me an example?
I don't know, based on certain customer segment, maybe you would like to go on bait and hook, and maybe on a higher segment, maybe on a premium.
Possibly, absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, this is where, going back to your segment. So if you define specifically your target segments well, you can find revenue models or pricing models that suit those customers better than others. And again, as you extend now into the business model, we're going to be talking about the resources, activities that are needed to deliver that. So you can then prioritize what are the things that I can get the most value paid by the customers and have the least amount of cost in implementing them. This is why this whole process is an iterative process. Once you start putting you might come up with some new pricing model that will affect maybe one customer segment more than another, and then you will adapt accordingly.